Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning, babe. Happy Rosh Halloween giving mess. Because right now, in our house, it is Rosh Halloween giving mess.
I think I'm more impressed with the fact that you're able to say that several times.
Rosh Halloween giving mess.
Okay, let's not make a song, though.
Okay, I think it deserves a song, though. There's a Christmas tree.
This was a particularly difficult tree experience.
Yes. Well, this is the tree that we bought in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was like 10 p.m.
It was 10 p.m.
You and your brother drove down Warwick Mountain.
Right. We drove down to the Scooby-Doo house and we met, old man Larry.
So I found, so when the family all came last year for Christmas to New York, we didn't have a Christmas tree in their house.
Right.
I basically had no budget. So I got someone to sell us a tree and all the ornaments and the lights for $30.
Right. The only problem with it is that all of the ornaments were like wet.
Their basement had been flooded and everything was wet.
We had to dry them out. Part of the story you were about to tell was your fault. I'm just telling you that part of the story was your fault.
Wait.
You told me where to put the limbs. You said this is where these limbs go and this is where these limbs go.
That's not true.
Oh, it is. Where should these limbs go? And you went, okay, that, those should be there. And yes.
You did that second row all by yourself, sir.
Oh, jeez.
You did.
Okay. Bottom line.
You had gotten about three. No. They weren't all up. You still had 2 rows to go in the middle.
It looked like the tree was wearing a corset.
Yeah. You had a cinch waist tree.
It was like a Baz Luhrmann tree.
Somehow. And I'm still not sure how this happened. It was like an alternate universe. It was like a skip. What is it called? A glitch. A blip.
There was a glitch in the Matrix is what you're talking about.
I watched you take the black and the beige limbs off the top 2 rows of the tree.
Yes.
You put them in 2 piles so I could spread them out. When we got to the top of the tree, we didn't have the row for the black limbs.
We had extra. It was like
a whole row extra.
It's like when you put together IKEA furniture and there's a pile of nuts and bolts that you have not used.
Then, of course, we run out of lights. And I say, okay, you're going to have to buy more lights tomorrow. The next morning I wake up and I don't like the multicolor lights on this tree. It wants clear lights.
It really doesn't.
It just does.
It really doesn't. You're forcing these clear lights onto this tree.
It has clear lights on it now and
it's
it looks
beautiful.
Good.
It's very beautiful, but it would also look beautiful with multicolored lights.
Because we had put the lights on as we built the tree.
Yes.
It was going to be especially annoying to take them off.
Yes, it was.
And I'm sitting there saying, I don't like it. You're going to have to take them off. And you're like, are you serious?
Are
you really serious?
I was very resistant to this idea of having put these
to
3...
be funny.
Yeah. Yes.
Being funny.
Like
you are. You're funny.
I can be funny sometimes.
You have these like little kind of like loafers, but they're very light.
Yes.
They're not.
Should I go bring one? Should I demonstrate?
No,
this?
You don't have to. But it's like a croc.
Yeah. It's somewhere between a croc and a slipper.
Yeah, it's like a glorified slipper.
It's a cripper.
You start just like to be funny, banging your head with your slipper,
just slamming it into my head.
Yeah, and it's
because I so do not want to have to take off all these lights again.
You're banging your head. You're banging your head over and over
again into my head.
And then you stopped, and I said, "Uh-oh, there's dog poop on that shoe." And you're like, "No, there's not." And I'm like, "Yes, there is."
I looked, and I was like, "Yeah, there was dog poop." You know what? That scene would have totally been in Babes last night.
I loved Babes.
Babes has I don't even know, no idea what her name is. But she's
the girl from Broad City.
Broad City, yes. She's one of the girls from Broad City.
The friend was not giving up nursing. right? She
Right.
really wanted to nurse her new baby.
Right.
And her husband had said, like, just stop because it's just torture. It's not working.
Right.
Just don't do it. And she
Right.
was just telling her friend, like, he's an asshole because he's like telling me to stop. And she's like, what an asshole. But then she's like, well, how many times do you nurse the baby a day? And she's like maybe one-ish. And she's like, bitch.
Bitch.
And then the friend is like,
Bitch.
bitch. And she's like, bitch.
Biatch.
Biatch. You know, and that was so funny because what I do with my friend, we do it with the F word.
We don't say the F word on this show, Tracy.
Well, I'm going to have to say the F word a lot if I do this.
Okay.
We were talking about how they have fights, but
Yes.
they're not like knockdown drag-outs that are like relationship killers.
Yeah, like where you say the thing that absolutely destroys everything.
No, they never did that.
No. It was they were low key fights, but they were still nasty.
And that's the thing. Whenever
Yeah.
like you do really love your friend,
Mm-hmm.
you can just be really, really mean.
Well, really
without
direct
being
and honest. is
yeah,
what it
but like
is.
you have so much information.
Mm-hmm.
I had started watching it because I thought, it's probably going to be a chick flick and John's not going to like it. So I had started watching it the night before.
Right, and you told me, and because I remember.
You said, well, how far did you get?
Yeah,
And I said, I didn't get to the ending.
Yeah. You're like, I didn't finish it. So we're watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, watching along, and then I say, well, how far had you gotten? She's like, oh, I didn't even get to the sex. I'm like, you saw 10 minutes of the movie, Tracy.
I didn't
and
finish
then you
it.
used the phrase, I didn't finish it.
I didn't get to the end.
That's not the phrase that you used.
No,
the phrase you would use
it's
was,
true.
I started the movie.
No,
I
didn't.
I saw a
this
little
is
of the movie. I
this
saw
is a
10
glass
minutes of the
half
movie.
Empty, half full.
No, it's really not.
situation.
No, because
I'm
you
an
really confuse people.
optimist.
Because people are like, well, I'm not going to watch
finish
this.
it.
I'm not going to watch this movie because you've already probably seen 9/10 of it and you didn't finish it.
No,
No,
I
you
didn't
saw
finish
1/10
it.
of it.
Does that make me an optimist or a pessimist?
I don't know what it makes you. It makes you a liar.
Well, I'm definitely not a realist, but no, I didn't even get 10 minutes in.
No,
and I
you
fell
did
asleep.
not.
But I was enjoying it.
There was the moment in the movie where she was babysitting and they watched The Omen.
Yeah, and it was like when you let our little niece watch scary movies.
Yes. I let her watch The Faculty and Silver Bullet back to back.
Silver Bullet was the first one.
Yes.
And you were in there with her playing on the couch and stuff, watching a movie.
Yes.
I was in the kitchen, I think, cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I heard the little baby saying,
Right. Little.
uh-oh, bear.
Uh-oh, bear.
Uh-oh, bear.
Uh-oh, bear. Yes.
Uh-oh. And she was very distressed.
Well, I don't know if she was distressed. I
She
feel like
was.
she was just expressing
No, she was
herself.
She started.
She
to
was
get very
into the
distressed.
film.
She got distressed. And so much so that I come into the room. I feel like I even had like a spatula in my hand. And I said, what is going
I don't think you
on?
got a spatula. But
What is she? What's wrong?
Okay.
And then I look over at the TV. You're like, I don't know. And I look over at the TV and there's Silver Bullet. There is Corey Haim going like this. Ah! In his little wheelchair trying to
In
get
his
away from
wheelchair.
the giant werewolf.
The giant werewolf, yes.
And she's like, uh-oh, bear.
I mean,
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Silver Bullet is basically Goosebumps.
Somehow I turned my head and you said, fine, I'll turn it off. And
Right.
you turned it to the faculty.
The Faculty, yes.
And then I'm still in the kitchen and I hear, uh-oh, frog.
Uh-oh,
And I'm like,
frog.
what is it now?
What's
I
the
walk
frog?
in there and I think I have a skillet in my hand. And
Right.
I'm like, what's wrong?
Why do you have these props?
I don't know.
You have a skillet. You have
I don't know.
Okay.
And then I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, uh-oh, frog. And I'm the faculty?
Well, okay. Now the frog, which I thought was brilliant that she called it a frog. It looked like a frog. That's chasing.
You sound like Donald Trump right now.
That's chasing them is not until almost to the very, very end of the film.
Evidently, somehow in her child speak, she was able to communicate with her parents.
Right.
And they were like, what is a bear? What is a frog?
Right. Well, they said that she was scared to go to sleep.
She was scared to sleep.
Yeah.
And so I
Not my
had to tell
proudest
them
moment.
why.
Well, actually, it's kind of
Why.
my proudest moment.
And because their child, I told them why.
Yeah.
And the next time that we babysat her, she came with a VHS in hand
Yes.
and said, "Happy Mooey."
Only happy movie.
No, she didn't even say only. She said, "Happy Mooey."
Yes. There was a rule
So
that I can only watch happy
Listen
movie.
to what she said though. Happy Mooey. That is how little she was.
I mean,
She
maybe.
couldn't even say
I
her
mean,
V's yet.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Ryan Murphy is like the Tyler Sheridan of right now.
Oh yeah, Tyler
got
Sheridan
shit
or Tyler
everywhere.
Perry or yes, exactly.
He has got stuff everywhere.
He's been that way for like the last 15 or 20 years.
He's got the Menendez thing. And did you
everything.
hear like this judge or something? They're talking about like letting the guys out for time served.
Yeah, letting the Menendez
And
brothers out.
Rosie O'Donnell's all up in this bitch.
Oh,
and
what's Rosie O'Donnell saying?
she talks to them like every day. She's
Oh,
like
really?
Lyle
Oh,
and
wow.
Kyle and Lyle's BFF.
Yeah. I saw a thing where it's like, they shouldn't call it monsters, the Menendez. They're not monsters. Well, you know, grotesquerie, which is sort of like, I mean, it definitely could have been like an American Horror Story.
It starts very much like an American Horror Story. And even the little nun woman is like that Formiga girl.
Very odd.
No,
about
it's
her.
like Carol Kane.
Yeah. She does have kind of a Carol Kane.
Yeah,
vibe
it's like
to it.
those
Yeah.
kind of like little wet owl girls.
Right.
Niecy Nash is really amazing.
Niecy
in this.
Nash is murdering this. She is
killing
fantastic.
it. And usually, I mean, all the things I've seen her in, she's been like, it's more comedy, it's lighter.
Right.
But she is really killing the emotional stuff.
There
in
are
this.
some like
and there's
heavy,
some weird stuff.
giant monologues.
Yeah.
Giant
oh my
monologues.
God.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So the first 2 episodes, though, it was like, wow.
I wasn't even sure we were going to stick with it.
I wasn't sure.
There was this one character that makes you think, is this even real? Is this a dream? Is this character is so not good. It's like not well written, not well acted. Everything about this character is so over the top.
The priest.
Yeah. No, I wasn't talking about the priest. I was talking about the nurse.
It's incredibly bad.
Yeah, she's bad. But Niecy is so great.
The priest is so sexual.
Oh my God. The daughter.
She wants to be on like one of those like 600-pound life.
Right.
People, shows.
So she's eating and eating and eating so she can gain the weight so she can be on that.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, there are certainly feeders,
right. Well, first of all, you said that and I didn't even know that term.
Yeah, it's people get paid to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially like there's like Amber Lynn and there's a and they do mukbangs.
I see. I don't know.
You never heard of a mukbang?
No, I haven't, and I don't really want to know.
There's like a whole world out there that you have no idea about. I do.
Reality world.
It's really weird because like dudes will pay women to just eat and get fat.
I'm not into that. I food and sex do not go together.
You don't like that intersection.
Do not go together to me. Do not be smearing peanut butter and chocolate on your junk. I don't want it. I'm not interested in it. I think
you should do peanut butter anyway. That would be like...
That's what we call Reese's Pieces right there.
Oh. Grotesquerie, it's gotten much better.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to keep watching it. I hope that he doesn't start shitting the bed again like in the first 2 episodes. But
yeah,
I've been enjoying it. And From is back.
Yes, From
is so unhinged.
It's such a wild show.
It is so crazy.
Yeah, Stephen King loves it, and it is a. I mean, it
feels like Stephen King wrote it.
It feels at
times.
What's so great about the show is that it's
like Lost,
right? But with like monsters
Under the Dome.
Yeah,
meets like. Yeah, kind of like I Am Legend, where the creatures like come out at night.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem like they've actually gotten smarter now.
Mm.
And like they're just screwing with these people.
Well, I think they're kind of leaning into the fact that they're living in some
And
kind
they
of nightmare.
ripped that
realm.
lady up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well,
they absolutely ripped her up.
There
Yeah.
are some possibilities where maybe all these people in town are actually in comas. Like,
Yeah, and maybe you have to die to get out of it.
Yeah.
And, things
we
like
don't
that.
know
Yeah,
how
we
you
don't
end up
know.
there, how you get out.
No,
One woman has gotten out in this season.
It's wonderful fantasy.
You were gone, and I like sometimes I sneak shows that I know you won't care about. So I watched the Will Ferrell documentary.
Yes.
There was a lot of emotional intimacy going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that everybody's talking about is this scene that happens in Texas at like this giant steakhouse place.
Steakhouse, yeah.
Where you try to eat a steak in like, an hour. A day ago here, it says Will Ferrell regrets taking transgender friend to Texas steakhouse. They had just come from a super positive experience at like this rodeo or this like, where you would typically see rednecks.
Will Ferrell makes a show when he goes someplace.
Yeah. He shows up and
he's not afraid. He'll wear some crazy costume. He'll be playing a character.
Yeah. So actually Harper's like, I'm not sure because Harper was concerned about like what reaction she would get in these situations that she's scared of. And she was like, I'm not sure I'm actually getting the real experience because Will Ferrell shows up.
Of course she isn't getting the real experience.
So she goes into a bar alone.
By herself, yes.
And has the experience. And then Will Ferrell comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but really it's about like their driving conversations. But when they get to this Texas Roadhouse, Will, I really don't think he thought, because they were on such a good roll.
I would just like to say, we're not sure it was Texas Roadhouse.
No, it is sorry.
We're going to get sued by Texas Roadhouse, Tracy.
I meant to say Texas Steakhouse.
Texas
Steakhouse
okay.
in Texas.
Okay.
He walks in dressed as Sherlock Holmes, which attracts a lot of attention. And then he's
going to eat like one of those, like, you got to eat this in an hour.
72-ounce steaks in an hour. Everything conspired to make this a very negative experience.
Right.
And Will is sitting there and he's like, I've often felt like I was in a fishbowl, but this is like the worst.
Yeah, like it was negative for him too.
It was very uncomfortable for him.
Right.
And like there's people taking pictures and then all over social media, they're making fun of Harper and putting her down. And then in the car the next day, Will Ferrell's like crying and saying like, he feels terrible because he actually feels like he put her in danger.
Yeah.
Like he actually had a moment where
it's
he was like, oh God.
It's celebrity when it turns dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, oh God, it was just so sad.
It was.
But then like, Harper has a great attitude. I'm going to cry. It was so awful. And Harper has a great response to it where she's like, yeah, it hurts. And then they're kind of making fun of all the comments. But they are hilarious together.
Oh, yeah.
They are stinking hilarious.
Right, because Harper was a writer on SNL and wrote a lot of the iconic Will Ferrell characters.
Harper is hilarious.
Yes.
She's a hilarious
person. In a really kind of drier way than Will Ferrell.
Just
the mind.
She has a great mind. She has a great comedic mind.
Yes. No, it was good. No, it was a great documentary.
Very, very touching movie.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it.
I'm still sad about that.
Don't be sad about it. We need you happy.
What I imagine is going to happen with Origian.
Okay.
We're going to try to knock out a scene.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
And then next week, knock out another scene.
Okay.
And we'll leave everybody on a cliffhanger going out onto the season break.
So in 2025.
No. Then I'm going to post the entire Origian audio.
Oh.
Okay, because I've been putting that together.
Okay, so will we write the rest of it before that happens?
Well, what will happen is we'll write a scene today. We'll write a scene next week. And if you want to hear the end of Origian as it's going to be rewritten, You'll have to
1995.
fast forward or listen to or fast forward.
You'll have to pay for this Trump watch.
No, I'm not going to charge people now.
$100,000 if you want the rest of Origian.
Oh, that's funny though. And it will have the new ending. It will not have the crap ending. I made something in my bread maker yesterday.
You did.
I found a new recipe for a pizza dough, and everybody was saying, "Oh my God, this is the best pizza dough."
It was a great pizza dough.
And but it was like not. It was.
How was it different than the other pizza dough?
I think it was a hair cakier.
Like what did you do different to make this a different pizza dough?
It's crazy how little you have to do to change a bread. It's crazy. It is.
It's chemistry,
subtle.
baby.
It is so subtle.
Right.
The difference. Because honestly, this one was 4 cups of flour instead of 2. It was kind of like double certain things. It was a little bit more yeast. And it was olive oil instead of butter.
I thought flavor was Olive Garden. But
it was Olive Garden
Olive
breadsticks.
Garden.
And you promised me for our last show we can make bagels.
Next week we will be making bagels.
And we'll be able to show them on
bagels.
The show. I've been like working like crazy trying to get these films ready for their premieres. And
we have 3 premieres in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of the films are done. So I don't want my life to be sacrificed.
Sure.
In the process of doing my work.
I think sacrifice sucks.
Well, and it's not even that. It's just that you don't get life.
Just in general, the principle of sacrifice
of one thing or the other.
It's a sucky thing. People build entire belief systems, entire religions.
Yeah,
blood sacrifice of the flesh. Buddhism, all this. Fuck sacrifice. Okay, don't sacrifice anything. There's no purpose in it.
You have a great rule, which is do everything.
Do everything.
Whenever I'm like this or that, or
both.
this, or we can do this, or we can do that.
Right.
You're always like,
do it all.
How can we do them both?
Do everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing, like yesterday, I really wanted to make a pizza yesterday.
Yeah.
I wanted to make my bacon and asparagus pizza, and we didn't have Alfredo sauce, and I had to make my own Alfredo sauce. You made a homemade
Alfredo sauce. That was wonderful. That was also very Cece's. Very Olive Garden.
Oh, it was very Olive Garden.
Very Olive Garden. Yes, we had Olive Garden yesterday.
I'm at the Olive Garden level of cooking.
Italian, at least, yeah.
Well, pizza.
It was so good. Yeah.
So, but I really wanted to do that, but it was going to take some time. Instead of saying, "Oh, I don't have the time for that,"
right?
I would let my own, what I personally wanted to do. I would normally just be like, "Well, you can't do that. You have to do this."
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm going to renegotiate how things are going to go in my day.
Right.
And I'm going to do what it takes to get everything done.
Right.
But I'm not going to not do life.
Right.
In the process.
Right. It's not an either or proposition.
In the past, I have felt like that's what was required.
Right.
We were talking about quantum entanglements yesterday. We are always entangled with whatever we have experienced. Like for instance, I'm forever entangled with my family.
Right.
With the people that even kids I grew up with in school.
And there is no cutting off.
There's no ever not being entangled with them.
The idea that you can cut off with people, the idea that you can break it off, all of these. No,
it's like I was telling you, it's like having a pair of shoes. They're always a pair. They always exist. They always exist.
You're still always entangled.
Apartment 7A,
which is is it it's a reimagining of Rosemary's Baby, or is it a prequel to Rosemary's Baby?
Here's the thing about, and spoiler alert, here's the thing about 7A that I didn't like as well, and that was somewhat
first of all, say what you did like about it.
Okay, I did like
the setting.
the setting, the subtlety.
The idea of her as a dancer and wanting to be, and there were all of these like great little things, like little musical cues and using the song from Damn Yankees and all that.
Yeah. But like the guy who is the father, he was
sucked.
always a dick.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing in the original, about him.
He was not that way.
Yeah. That was John Cassavetes.
We found out that he was manipulating everything, but he was not that way the whole time.
That's the whole thing about this, is that there is a quality in Roman Polanski's original Rosemary's Baby of it being kind of a mystery.
Well, it feels like
it unfolded
mania that she's having.
It unfolded slowly.
Whenever she finally gets away and she runs to the obstetrician guy,
right?
And that whole section where she's like finding out, is she crazy? Is she not? What's happening?
Right. It's like, okay, well, maybe this person isn't involved. Oh, they are involved. Maybe this person isn't involved. Oh, they are too. And by the end, everybody is involved.
In apartment 7A, the whole time,
you knew
she was raped.
Right.
That's how she got pregnant. She was raped.
Right.
And so
the sparkly devil raped her.
It puts
the bedazzled Lucifer.
It just put a different spin on it that was just off the whole time. There was something off about it the whole time. It was like like when you put the creamer in your coffee and it curdles to the top.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
It was like that the whole movie once she got raped.
Okay.
Because she never thought any of that happened that she was a part of. Whatever happened that got her pregnant, she never confronted the guy. Like, you took advantage of me.
Right.
And like, I wasn't that drunk. You probably drugged me to take advantage of me.
Right.
And she never did anything to expose him. She did try to get an abortion.
Diane Wiest was awesome.
They were great as like the little old couple
because she was kind of doing an impersonation. It was funny of the original.
Who was the husband there?
I don't know. The one who played Roman. Yeah.
Yeah. Never saw that guy before in my life. It was like they were like, yeah, who cares who the dude is? Because it's Diane Wiest.
Yeah.
And she did a great job as that little old lady who was like, that
darling. Yeah. Exactly. Drink this Tannis. Yeah.
And I did like that they basically like healed her broken foot, and that was a great scene.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was like it was sort of like satanic showgirls.
It was like it was kind of yeah. But
yeah, I liked
I don't know.
There was one point in the movie where it was like, what the fuck just happened? Where she met this nun who did an info dump.
Oh my God. That was like info dump.
It was just like backstory. Who is this person? Why is she telling them all of this? Oh my God.
That
bad writing.
That girl that disappeared and she lived there and she did this and she did that. And then this
she came here and then she tried to escape. And then she, oh my God.
It was like, really? I mean, it's almost like people like that was feedback they got.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's going to understand where this is going. Nobody's going to understand what happened.
We need a character to honestly, lay it all out.
Look, we didn't need that other girl at all.
No.
We didn't need another girl to have lived there and any of that to happen.
This all has happened before. No,
we didn't need that.
We didn't need that.
And if you were going to do it, you needed to do it better than that. Salem's Lot.
Oh, man. People have been ripping that movie online.
Why? I screamed so much. Did I scream?
You screamed a lot. I
can't stand when they go for the feet. When you're trying to get away and they're grabbing at your feet. That is my personal hell.
Salem's Lot is a really beloved Stephen King book.
People, it's
and they've remade it like a lot. 3 times. Plus, there was a Return to Salem Lot.
Wasn't as good. I mean, come on.
This really felt like a very compact version of the story, but I thought it was really fun. That scene of in the David Soul Salem's lot of the kid outside
It's scary.
is that's on the list of 100 scary scenes of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
because it's terrifying.
The one outside the window in Amityville is usually on that same one, but it's not nearly on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
No, but in this one, it was really good.
I really like that guy who
It's Bill Pullman's. It's Bill Pullman's son.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about the guy that was wearing the Red Sox jacket all the time. That character actor. It's super fun.
I know what that dude was in.
What
recently?
What?
Presumed Innocent.
Oh yes, he was.
He was also the janitor in The Queen's Gambit.
Babe, he's been in everything.
Oh, he was an outsider.
Yes, he's in everything. I'm telling you this.
Oh my gosh.
I keep telling you this. 7A and Salem Slot.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
they're both streaming for free.
Yes, and happy Russia Halloween giving miss to you.
Okay, we're still going with that. Okay,
I'm getting T-shirts printed.
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies. Jon and Tracy will meet you for breakfast tomorrow.